Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how can we deploy Akka cluster to Kubernetes. For that, actually, I will try to follow the doc and I will try to explain the doc, the official Akka doc documentation, and I will show you how can we actually deploy that Akka cluster to Kubernetes just following the documentation. For that, actually, you need to first Google on Akka. On Google. So you need to Google writing just deploying Akka cluster to Kubernetes, and you will find this page link and click on, and it will be sent to this. It will be sent to this page. Yeah. So we are going to use Scala. Okay, no problem. So just we need to click on there. And here we see it says that we need a deployment specification, and it says that we need to actually create a deployment specification, and the name of the deployment is Akka cluster YAML deploying configuration. We need to use the active system name. We need to actually, it says the name of the active system is here Akka, and they're using it in different namespace of Kubernetes Akka 1. And if you look at the deployment here, it says this is the name, this is the name. It needs to be similar to the active system name. You should keep it in mind. If it is Akka, so the active system name need to be Akka, and if it is different, the active system name need to be different. You need to follow this, and it mentioned that in which namespace it need to be created. And the documentation and the deployment configuration says that it is going to create 2 replicas, and this is the container. Is talking about the container, what container the container we will actually create for, and this is the readiness proof. The Akka, it has been said here so that the communities can check whether the pod, we are going to get pod here, whether the pod is ready or not. And for checking this, we will actually use management. Akka management. So the management is here. So here, if you look at this, is the management, Akka management, and this is the Akka management port. This is actually also the default port of Akka management. Type is protocol type is TCP. And this is the this is HTTP. It is Akka HTTP, it is for Akka HTTP, so that you can check by using C URL or using browser, so that you can understand whether your pods are working or not. So this is for that. It is not record. It can be that it is not record for you. This is all about the resources. Okay, now. We should go to another page, forming an Akka cluster. So how can we form Akka cluster? So we need this thing. So here it says that we need Akka management version. For now it is I think the latest version 1.1.3, and we need cluster HTTP, management cluster HTTP, Akka management cluster HTTP, Akka management cluster bootstrap. This is important because we are going to use Akka management cluster bootstrap, which means we are not going to set seed nodes. And as we are not going to set any seed nodes, so how it will find out, the contact point? For that, what is this Akka cluster is using? That is Kubernetes API. So by using Kubernetes API pod, we'll try to find out the IPs of the other ports using the pod name. We said we already actually mentioned in the deployment. And this is the management and configuration. About this is important. We need to set this configuration in Akka. So it says the provider is cluster, so we are going to create cluster. And this is about unsuccessful seed node joins shutdown after 60 seconds. Coordinator shutdown exists on. Akka management HTTP. So what is about this? this is important because we're creating Akka. We are actually using bootstrapping, yeah, so that because we are not using any seed nodes. So if you look at her, this says which method we are going to use: discovery method, community APIs. Yes. And on the application, main application, we need to, application in the main file, we need to actually start Akka management using the system, actor system, and cluster bootstrap using the actor system. And as we already have said that that we are using Kubernetes API, so if pod want to access Kubernetes API, we need to set role-based access control, which in short we call RBAC. So there it is, the role, which means we are going to use these resources. Our pod are going to use these resources by using these actions. Yes. And we need to bind the role. We need to bind the role actually to user. This is the user, or it can be service account. So it is just your decision what you are going to do. So we are going to use this, and it says that it's default to the namespace. We are going to use this and health check about this. Okay, so this is talking about there is some extra configuration that pairs of second. After how many seconds actually Kubernetes need to call this URL. So that has been told here. And building the application. My net is really very slow. I think I lost my net connection for some reason. We are Scala developer. We need to use Scala. So for building in plugins.svt, we need to use this plugin, and in the build file we need to use these two things. This is for creating Docker image, and this is to package the Java file. And it says about actually our main main method where it can be, because it says that here we are telling native packager to okay, this with package up, and then okay, to generate the start script. Here it says that to generate the start script, native packager need to know what the application main class is. I think you understand. So we need to say the native packager what the where the actual main class is, which means we need to say a Docker plugin. When the application has only one main class in its source folder, SVT will detect it automatically, which means we don't need to use this if we have just one main class. But in case there are multiple, or the main class comes from a dependency, it can be set in the build SVT. Okay, and the base Docker image is here, and this is important. This is git hash based version number. So it will actually generate every time if you generate new image, it will create a versioning number for your image name. Actually, yes, it will be the hash number will be added with your image name, and it is used for that hashing. If you just read it, you will understand what is said. Okay, you can use this one, and this is if you want to publish your Docker image to your private repository, then then you can use this one, or Docker Hub, you can use this one, because you need to tell the application what the password is. We are not going to use Maven. And deploying, about deploying. So it is all, it's saying that, because at first we saw that there is namespace Akka1, and we need to create this namespace, and after that we need to set this context and config context, and after that we need to run the cluster, and it will start. Now I'm going to show you the actual application that I have in my folder. Okay, this is the folder. Actually, this is my custom application. Yeah, this is Docker plugin, Java application. I wrote which one is the main class, and this is all. And I didn't use one thing, that is this one, Denver. So Denver plugin I didn't use. You need to use, actually it is really necessary to use, because I just created it for test, so I didn't use. We need to obviously use this one, and obviously we need to add this in her plugin, in the plugin.spati, and here the another keys we saw in this this one. And there in the build file everything is there. I didn't add I mean the Docker this one, Docker name and repository name. I just intended to publish the Docker image in my local, and after that I actually pushed my image to my intended repository. But you can use this one. You will be able to directly push your image to your repository, private repository. Okay, and yeah, that is all. I'm using Java OpenJDK 8 Jerry, not this. Just this one. This is smallest. And now I'm going to show you my source. Okay, this is the source. This is the behavior, and the behavior, if you, this is the actual system, and the root actor is cluster listening actor. Name of the system is Akka. Yes, subscriber, and I'm creating Akka management and Akka bootstrap here in the actor system. After the actor is alive, actor is created, then I just called these two things, Akka management and Akka bootstrap, and everything is relatively simple. And now I'm going to show you something different, and that is, if I go to there in the, okay, I need to show you the research. Okay, configuration, everything has been mentioned here. I added this one, you can use this one. I added this one, HTTP host IP, port IP, and Kubernetes API, and the port selector. So this is my configuration. And this is the deployment. This is the one deployment. I'm not using any defined namespace. I'm saying that I need actually 2 replicas, and the system name is, actual system name is Akka, and rolling update. This is important. If you want to scale your Akka cluster, rolling update is necessary, and their maximum storage is one by one. I need to update. We should keep it in mind. We should keep it in mind. And and everything is there. My actually my image name is Madios, and this is my name, cluster latest. And I actually created this for my local repo, my actual local minikube. And you need to keep in mind, minikube, actually the updated version of minikube cannot actually run Akka cluster. So you need to use, I think, 1.15, this version of minikube, or lower version of minikube, I think. Yeah, we cannot actually use the upper version of the minikube to run Akka cluster. This is all about, and this is the rolling bind. Okay, we are going to use this one. I'm just removing this one because I need to import this from the cloud. I'm going to run this on actual Kubernetes. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to run this in my PC. I'm going to use Playground. Yes. And this one. Okay, let me use okay. And this is a bad news. If you look at there, on June 15, katakoda.com will begin closing to the public, and discoverable content will be removed. The full details are available on O'Reilly. So this is really very sad news for people who are wanting to use this, like me, after watching my videos. This is really very good good website for using, I mean, for practicing this kind of activities. Okay, my Kubernetes is running. So what I can do is I need to create a deployment file. So nano I'm pasting this one, everything. Okay. Now it is I need to actually deploy this file. We'll just check the pod. There's no pod, but if I deploy, so everything has been created. And it will take about 70 seconds, to be created. It is running, but Kubernetes still has not actually start to check whether it is alive or not, because we just said some times, we already said in the Kubernetes. After that, actually initial delay, after that actually it will start to check. Just wait 30 seconds. Okay, it's saying that okay, Kubernetes is running. Now it is time to check whether cluster has been created or not. Okay, let me check it. kubectl logs pod. I'm going to check this one. Okay, it says member is up. Member is up. We're seeing this, or we see this there. Okay. Yes, it has been able to create cluster. It has been. This one is 5, and this one is 6. I mean, if I look at the IP, so they have created a cluster. Now if we again look at the ports, this is the ports, and now it is time to scale the ports, so we can go to the deployment again, nano. We need to set it to replicas number 10. And we're going to deploy it again. Now it is time to check the ports. Already two are running, these two, and one started to run. And let me check whether it has been able to create cluster or not. And we'll find that within some minute all will join, all will be able to create the cluster. We see that already 3 cluster has been created, because they're starting one by one. Sorry, what the fuck am I doing? Sorry. I just missed the thing. And all the member is up now. Now if I again look at the log file here, I see that 14, 13, 11, they have joined to the cluster. 12, 10, and this one 9, and one by one they all actually joined to the cluster. 8. So we already have seen actually how can we create cluster on Kubernetes. It is really very easy. You need to just follow the configuration in that has been actually mentioned in the documentation. You don't need to do any extra thing. Yes, I just did those things. It is not necessary for you, but you can do there. You can follow the instruction has been given by the Akka cluster documentation. So I think you have learned something, and it is really very easy. Create a cluster on Kubernetes. Thanks a lot for watching. Goodbye.